Okay, the very last section of the year, 11.4, we're going to talk about a sphere. And a sphere is a three-dimensional circle is what it is. It's a ball. It's lots of different things that you are come in contact with are spheres. Okay, we're going to include the surface area of the sphere and the volume of the sphere in the same unit. But we're talking about a sphere, okay? We have two different formulas that you're going to work with. Surface area, remember, is if I were to put something on just the outside surface only, so like painting or coloring. If I was going to color this in, it would just be the outside surface. The surface area of a sphere is 4 times pi times radius squared. Again, it's an area, so it's a centimeter squared or a unit squared, and that's why the radius is squared for surface area. So in this particular sphere, I've got a radius. It starts at the center. It goes to the outside. That would be 7. So you would just be saying 4 times pi times 7 squared. Order of operation says to square first. Do exponents first. So that would be 4 times pi times 49. And if I take 4 times 49, I get 196 pi. Surface area is an area, so it's centimeters squared in this case. Okay, so just basic formula, 4 times pi times radius squared. Now you're going to get some different pictures in here. It says the surface area of a hemisphere. Okay, hemisphere means that there's only half of the sphere. It includes half the surface area of the sphere and then the area of the circular base. So we saw this a little bit when we did circumference of the circle. We had some pictures where we only had half the circle and then we had this straight line. And we had to use the circumference. We took half the circumference to figure out the curve, and then we had to add in what that flat surface was. Same concept with this hemisphere. Okay, so if the radius, so you're seeing the diameter is 10, that means the radius is only 5. Okay, so if I were to use my surface area formula, I would say 4 times pi times 5 squared, 4 times pi times 25, and that would be 100 pi. Now, you don't see the whole sphere. You're only seeing half of it. So I'm not going to use 100 pi. I've got to divide that by 2. So I would get 50 pi as this circular dome type of, for that surface area. But then I've got this flat circle on the bottom. So I've got to add in the area of the circle on the bottom. So that'd be pi times radius squared. This would be pi times 25, 50 pi plus 25 pi, and we get a total of 75 pi. Altogether, that hemisphere has a surface area of 75 pi, okay? So it's because we have to count the flat surface that that hemisphere is sitting on, and that flat surface has a circular shape. Okay, so think about that when you're looking at your pictures, whether you have the whole sphere or whether you just have the half a sphere. Okay, now we're going to switch and we're going to look at volume. Volume has a different formula. Okay, that last formula, 4 times pi times radius squared, was for surface area. When it comes to the volume, we have a little bit different formula. It's the fraction 4/3 times pi times radius cubed. Notice that the radius is cubed. But with volume, we know we cube the unit. So that's when we're going to cube the radius as well. So if I want to find the volume, and remember volume is like if I wanted to fill this up with water, or I want to fill this up with sand, the inside of it, I'm going to fill it up to the top. That's what volume is. And so for this particular, I've got a radius of 6. It's going from the center to the outside of the sphere is 6 centimeters. So if I plug that into my formula, I'd have 4/3 times pi times 6 cubed. Okay, you're going to want to use your calculator to cube 6. That's 6 times 6 times 6. Okay, so that would be 4/3 times pi over 1 times 2/16 over 1. Okay, so you're going to want to take 4 times 2/16. Okay, when you do this on your calculator, you can take 4 times the 2/16, and then you're going to divide by 3. 4 times 2/16 divided by 3, you're going to end up with 288 pi. Okay, 288 pi. We're going to leave pi in our answer, and this would be centimeters cubed. Since it's volume, we cube it. Okay? And then the last one, it says the volume, if I'm doing the volume of the hemisphere, okay, this is a little bit easier than doing the surface area of the hemisphere because you don't have to worry about the base of it. But to do the volume, you just take your volume of the whole sphere and you just cut it in half if you only have half the sphere. But again, be careful because right now they've given you the diameter, they've given you all the way across, but that's not what we need in our formula. Our formula is 4/3 times pi times radius cubed. So we want the distance from the center to the outside. That's only going to be 12. So I do 4/3 times pi times 12 cubed. Okay, 12 cubed is going to be a very big number. Okay, so I'm going to go grab my phone here so I can do the 12 times 12 times 12. I'll just do 12 and let's cube it. So I get, this is going to be 4/3 times pi over 1 times 1,728 over 1. So again, we can multiply that times 4. It equals, and then you want to divide by 3. I get 2,304 pi. Okay, this is going to be equal to 2,304 pi. But remember, we don't see the full sphere. We're only seeing half the sphere. So we got to divide that answer by 2. And we get this 1,152 pi centimeters cubed. Okay? In this last example, we had to take our volume and we had to divide it by 2 because we're only seeing half the sphere. Okay? We got 2 new formulas for the sphere. You got the surface area, 4 times pi times radius squared. And you have the volume of the sphere, 4/3 times pi times radius cubed. Okay, make sure you know which formula to use in which situation. All right, start working on that worksheet.